I am so excited to be here on this really cold, wintry day. What a wild time to uh, to be alive. It's cold. It's beautiful. I love winters here in Colorado. I grew up in Ohio, where winters can be terrible, where you don't see the sun for 4 months. When it snows, it sticks around for 4 months. Winters here, although it can be a little gray sometimes, like it was today, normally it's beautiful and I love it. I don't mind being cold. I much prefer it to being hot. Uh, but anyways, welcome to Dwell Live. This is a program of Dwell Youth Ministry, which is a youth ministry of First Congregational United Church of Christ. My name is Josh, and I'm the youth minister here. I'm so excited to be with you today. The reason why we're online, live like this, is because we're trying to be as safe as possible, to take as many precautions as possible, to keep as many people as healthy as possible. So that's why we're here. That's why we're doing this. This youth ministry and this church is a place where everyone is welcome. It doesn't matter who you are, who you love, what you believe, what you've done, how you identify. This is a space for you. We firmly believe that love is love, that Black Lives Matter, and that all people deserve to be loved and respected and celebrated, including you. You deserve to be celebrated and loved and cared for because you're worth it. You matter. Your life is important. And this world is a better place because of you. So I'm glad you're here too. What we do during this time is I'm going to be answering anonymous questions submitted by you. Last week I talked about what we do with like books like Leviticus and Deuteronomy, because one of you asked that question. Tonight I'll be talking about a different question and offering the best answer that I can give. Why I do this? Because I think every question deserves to be heard, and every sincere and honest question deserves a sincere and honest answer. So no matter what you ask, if you ask it with sincerity and honesty, I will do my best to answer it with sincerity and honesty in return, because you deserve it. So this is a program driven by you. Yes, you see my face, but it's your questions. This is your time. And so I want to hear from you. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be dropping a link on this Instagram page, and on other spaces as well, via email and such, where you can submit questions anonymously. Trust me, I don't see who submits them. They come in and it's just text. It's not coming from an email. It's not coming from anything. It's completely anonymous. So your question, no matter what it is, I'll read it and I'll do my best to answer it. And so tonight's question that we're going to talk about, which came from one of you, is how do we know what God wants us to do? How do we know what God wants us to do? And thank you for that question. It's such a good one. And it's hard, you know? Trying to, I'm going to use a Christian word here, discern what God wants us to do has plagued so many people over the course of all of human history. Because deep down, each of us wants to do the right thing. And doing the right thing is hard. It's complicated, you know? Especially when so many of us have a version of God that we believe in that is truth and is just and has a plan for us. When we see a God that has a plan, we want to do our best to abide by that plan, and I get that. I've wrestled with this thoughts so many times when I'm at a crossroads where I can go this way or this way. Or many times you can choose from one of many different paths. So how do we know which one is the right path? How do we know which path is the one that God has for us? And so I hear you. That's hard. But also for a lot of us, we don't believe in a God that has a plan. Or we may not even believe in a God at all. And that's okay. That's perfectly fine. So maybe another way to ask yourself this question, if you don't believe in a God, is how do we know what the right choice is? What is the best choice? So I'm going to answer this question from my perspective. Not that this is the correct perspective, okay? I don't have the right answers. I have my answers, and those answers may be helpful for you. If they are, great. If they're not, that's okay too. This is going to be how I discern the right path or what God wants me to do, okay? To be perfectly honest, first of all, I believe in God, but I don't believe God has this path destined for me. That if I stray but a little, then I'm going against the will of God. I don't believe that. I believe that God ultimately gives us freedom and gives us the freedom to choose what the best path is for us. I don't believe in a God that has a plan and then leaves it a mystery for me to figure out. And if I'm wrong, then I'll be in trouble. That seems a little unfair to me, you know? But I do believe in a God that walks next to me, that is with me, that dwells with me in all of my choices, the good and the bad. That God dwells among us when we have good things happen or when we suffer. As an aside, I don't think that our suffering is a result of a mistake that we made. I don't think it's punishment. Suffering just is. It's a thing that happens to us. But I believe in a God who is good and loving enough to walk with us in and through our suffering. All right, back to the question. For a long time, I tried so hard to figure out what God wanted for me. Did God want me to stay in Ohio or Indiana? Or did God want me to move to Colorado? Did God want me to choose this job or that job when I had 2 job offers? I remember asking God if I should stay single or not. I'm married, by the way. So I chose to not be single. Because I wanted so badly to do what God wanted for me. And I realized that my choice was my own and that God was with me in it, which is amazing. So, to be perfectly honest, when you ask the question, how do we know what God wants us to do? The best answer I can give you is I have no idea. um, if there is a God that has a plan, um, I don't see how we can know with 100% certainty what God wants for us. So I think a better way to look at this when we are faced with decisions or when we're faced with a lack of decisions um, is what is the most loving thing we can do. I believe in a God who is love. So, what is the most loving choice? What is the choice that does the most good for the most people? What is the choice that is most equitable and has the least of these at the forefront of our minds? Make that choice. Ultimately, what happens in this world is because of what we choose to do. Meaning, we have to choose to do good. We have to choose to love and to do justice, to be merciful, to be kind. We have to choose all of those things because not choosing those things inevitably means that we choose to do the opposite, that we choose to hate, that we choose discord, that we choose to destroy. And that's not the way of God. So ultimately, I don't know what God wants us to do specifically, but I do know that God wants us to love and to be people of peace and to heal and to bring hope and joy to a lost and broken world. That I know God wants us to do. But whether to go to McDonald's or Taco Bell, I don't think that matters. Whether it's to go to a university far away or a university close, I don't think that matters to God either. Ultimately, that's your choice, and you're free to choose. You are not bound by some divine will that has one path for you. I believe God can be found on all paths. I hope this answers the question. If that's not what you were looking for, I'm sorry, but that's the best answer that I can give. If you want to talk more about it, let me know. You can ask the question again. You can ask a slightly different question. Really, you can ask any question, and I would love to hear it because I want to hear from you because your questions matter. But for now, for this evening, this is where we end. I hope it's helpful. I love each and every one of you. So when you go into the world, to whoever you come across. Be brave, be wise, and be kind. All right, y'all. Love you.